we've obviously played some really good cricket in the last few years to be in this position to play in the final against India, who have also played really good cricket. So makes for a good week, but we're certainly confident that we can win, yeah.
Steve, 6 tests over the course of less than 8 weeks, but how important is this match to you and your teammates?
Oh, I mean, it's really important. I think the World Test Championship now, having the 2 best teams play in a final, I think is great. Adds a little bit more relevance, I suppose, to Test cricket. So, it's what we all work towards for a couple of years. And this week should be an exciting one, and yeah, the guys are looking forward to it.
If I can just ask one more, how helpful has your time been at Sussex? I know you've probably not batted as much as you wanted to, but you had 3 knocks. How helpful has that been in readying yourself for what's to come?
It's been good fun. I've enjoyed my time in England so far. It was good fun playing down at Sussex. There were a good bunch of guys and some really talented players. So I enjoyed it. Had a couple of good hit outs and ready to go now.
Steve, when you played India last time in India, Jadeja and Ashwin, obviously, big parts of your preparation and thinking about them. What is it this time that you're thinking about in terms of their pace and their spinners?
I think they've got a good mix, obviously, of quality seam bowlers. Shami and Siraj, probably their 2 main guys who have really good skills, and I think the Duke's ball will suit them nicely. And then obviously their spinners as well, who bowl really well in all conditions. So I think they're a good attack, and we're going to have to play well against them this week.
Steve, I was going to ask you, you've played in a One-Day World Cup final, a T20 World Cup final. Is it a similar feeling going into this one, or is it a bit different given it's not a tournament as such? And secondly to that, will it mean as much if you win it as being a world champion in those 2 formats?
Yeah, I'm not really sure. I haven't thought too much about it in that aspect. It's obviously been a good couple of years of Test cricket, and to play in a final of the World Test Championship is pretty special. But I don't know, until we sort of go out there and get started, I don't know how it'll feel. But it's been a good build-up the last few days. We've had some good days training down in Beckenham, and we get to have a hit at the Oval today and tomorrow. So we're looking forward to that. But it should be a really good week.
And if I could just go one more, if that's right, Cole. Obviously, the other day, we heard David Warner say that he had laid out his plans when he will retire. Last summer, you had about 5 or 6 dates that you threw up. That could be today, could be 5 years' time. Have you got any further clarity in your mind on your future?
No.
Fair play.
You don't want to expand on that, do you, mate?
No.
What did you feel of, just going on that, what did you feel about Davey being so precise with his dates? Just seems, does it put any more pressure on him or the selectors in terms of how he's going, or do you just realise as a professional sportsman you're only there as long as you're going all right?
Yeah, I don't know. It's nice to have an end date, I suppose, if that's the way you want to go. But ultimately, it's for all of us. We've got to be doing our job, and as bad as that, scoring runs. So that's all of our jobs. But I mean, in an ideal world, I think Davey said that's when he'd like to finish up. But he's got to score runs, all of us. So we'll see what happens.
And playing at the Oval, this is the earliest a Test match has ever been played at the Oval, and looked a bit sort of green from what I saw when I was here yesterday. I mean, obviously, usually at the end of a summer, when you play here at the Oval, it's sort of a bit worn and can spin a bit. What are you expecting here now, and who's going to have the advantage as a result of that work in history?
Yeah, I haven't had a look at the surface yet, so I probably can't say too much, but you're right, usually at the back end of the summer it's a bit drier. Some spin can come into play, particularly as the game goes on. So, we'll wait and see what the surface looks like, and we'll go from there.
Steve, I know this is the next game that's on your agenda, and so it's got all your focus, but I guess it's kind of hard not to avoid Ashes chat because you're in England. I mean, how difficult has it been to kind of separate the two? Even the Aussies have talked about it being a 6-test series. How are you kind of clearing your mind over one versus the other?
I'm just playing each game as it comes. I'm not even thinking about the opposition too much. Just going out and playing the game, and that's really it, to be fair. So we'll get through this game and then we'll start focusing on England after that. But yeah, we're all just looking forward to this week. As I said before, it's 2 years in the making, I suppose, of getting to the final of the World Test Championship. So it's a big week for us and India. So we'll get through this and then we'll focus after that.
So did you watch the Ireland Test at all? Do you pay any attention to who did what, and obviously now Jack Leach being injured?
Yeah, I watched little bits and pieces. England played pretty well, didn't they? So, obviously the news of Leachy broke yesterday. I think it's a real shame. He's done really well for England the last 12, 18 months in particular. And I think it's going to be some big shoes for them to fill. I don't know what way they'll go, but big shoes to fill. But obviously feel for him. He obviously wants to be involved in the big series and Ashes series. So hopefully he recovers well.
And just finally from me, Cole says that you were held up by protests at a go slow on the way to the ground. Are you expecting more protests during this week and maybe at the game itself, bearing in mind what they're protesting about and who you're sat in front of?
Yeah, honestly, I have no idea. So we'll wait and see and play it by ear.
Steve, there's obviously this match and Ashes and then also an ODI World Cup this year, and David has mapped out his retirement route. Is there a sense that this is a really important year for this group of Australian players, those of you who have been around a while, to leave a legacy in those two formats, particularly Test match and then when we get there, one-day cricket as well?
Every game you play for your country is important. Every series is important, but certainly the Ashes series here, it's one that's eluded us. We've never won here. We got close last time, but couldn't quite get over the line. But it's certainly something that I'd love to tick off my bucket list, winning an Ashes series here. And in terms of one-day cricket, obviously the World Cup's the biggest tournaments in white ball format. So, it's still a little while away, so we'll focus on that later. But, it's certainly one that we want to win as well.
Thanks, Will. Steve, obviously a huge occasion here with the Test Championship final and the Ashes. Just in terms of the future of Test cricket, as someone who loves the game, what do you think of the future of the game, and are you concerned at all, given some of the reports around franchise leagues and the expanded footprint?
I am slightly concerned, but hopefully Test cricket still stays alive and well. I think it's in a good place at the moment. In terms of some of the games we've seen recently have been pretty amazing. So, for me, as a traditionalist, someone that loves Test cricket, I hope it still remains at the front of all the boards' mind and stays alive and well for some time to come.
And just in terms of the way the group's been preparing, how was Josh Hazlewood from your view? Was he close, and do you think he can still play a pretty key role in the Ashes?
The way he bowled the other day was, faced him out in the middle and it was pretty good. So we know the skills he possesses. I think he was pretty close for this game, and I dare say he'll be fit the game after. So we'll see what way the selectors want to go, I suppose, but I think he'll be on the table. Yeah.
Steve, just on the last point there, we got Michael Neese's come into the squad, and he's been had a good stint at County the last couple of months, and he's been bowling pretty good in the nets, what we've seen. I'm sure you've got faith that he can come in and do a good job if he does win selection?
So much faith. He's a quality performer. Obviously faced him, against Glamorgan a couple of weeks ago. Bowled beautifully. He's got great skills, and he's added some skills. I think while he's been over here, I think some of the in-swingers we've seen him bowl. When the wicket's probably a bit flatter, he still swings the ball. So he's got loads of skills, and he's batting nicely as well. So he's a great package, and if he gets an opportunity, I'm certain he'll do a very good job.
Steve, I just wondered how, if obviously Josh is not playing, if Scotty Boland gets the nod, what are you expecting from him on the possibility the wicket could be a little bit green and do a bit?
I think you'll get what Scotty does pretty well. Hits a good length, hits the top of the stumps, nips the ball around, can swing it if he wants to, and he's got the great skills as well. So no doubt it'll be a challenge if he gets the nod.